District Attorney says failures within the sheriff's office led to the near release of a recaptured Orleans jail escapee.
He says the sheriff's office failed to properly input the escapee's information into a national crime database. But as Chris Welty reports, the state says there was no danger of the inmate getting out.
Local police, sheriff's offices, state police, and federal agents use the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC. The national database shares information on open warrants, persons charged with crimes, missing persons, and stolen property.
It is one of the best tools we have to know where violent offenders are navigating.
Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams calls the database crucial when it comes to releasing an inmate.
If a person is eligible to be released for some reason in Jefferson Parish, but there might be a hold on them in Orleans Parish.
Williams says when information comes from Orleans Parish Criminal Court, the sheriff's office is responsible for updating NCIC. Williams released emails and letters sent to Sheriff Susan Hudson that he says show instances of warrant information either being delayed or missing from the national database. The DA's office says one of the recaptured Orleans jail escapees, Lenton Van Buren Jr., was almost released from Angola last week. But the Department of Corrections says Van Buren would have never been released. The DOC says he served his time for a separate charge and was only released from that sentence and would have remained incarcerated on other charges. However, the DA's office says the Department of Corrections told his office there was no detainer in place to hold Van Buren. And shortly after that, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office filed the paperwork to keep him locked up. Williams says this is not the first time mistakes almost led to an OPSO inmate being released.
Another individual by the name of David Jones, who is currently facing child trafficking and kidnapping charges, was about to be released. There was another individual by the name of Quentin Washington, who was charged with a murder case, who's about to be released because his information had not been put in the system by our sheriff.
Rafael Goyeneche, president of the Metropolitan Crime Commission, says the sheriff's office may not be at fault. He says when a judge in criminal court issues an order, multiple steps must happen before an entry is made into the NCIC database.
The court's clerk has to fill out paperwork. The judge needs to sign it, and the paperwork needs to be transmitted to the sheriff's office.
Goyeneche says the sheriff's office will bring the paperwork to be filed, and it's unclear how timely NCIC data entries are made.
What needs to be determined was were there any delays on the part of the court that precluded the sheriff's office from getting that information from the court into the system in a timely manner.
The district attorney's office is auditing its homicide caseload to ensure every suspect with a detainer is reflected properly in NCIC. The Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office responded to the DA's comment about David Jones. OPSO says Jones was never mistakenly released, and the office remains committed to transparency and accurate reporting.